Well, good morning. Yeah, it's 1:11 a.m. and I've been sitting here pondering for a long while. Once again, I slept early in the evening and woke up between 10 and 11 o'clock, and I've been out of bed for a good while. Anyway, the title, Introspection, is looking in the mirror. When things that seem crazy show up in our lives, what do? The ambassador often says, look in the mirror. That's called introspection, and I've been doing that a long time. I know it goes against the teaching, don't take it personally. Oh well. I ask why. Is this behavior that is pissing me off something that I do and don't see clearly? It may not always be the case, but sometimes it is my own behavior magnified. I was asked by the friar what I hope to achieve with what I do. Good question. If I can heal some of my issues, perhaps I can make it easier for others to do the same. Yes, there's more to it than that. Perhaps I will hit on a few more things in this video. I forgot a letter S. Okay, I just put it in there. Let's save it so that I know it's there. All right. Lots and lots of pondering going on. You hear me say that frequently in my videos because I have been an introspective person all of my life, really. And I take pretty much everything that happens to heart. And the more I learn that what I see out there reflects something that's in here, the more introspective I become. And I look at things. 2 weeks ago, a lady introduced herself into my life and began to tell me her story. And it caught my attention. I talked about it in videos. It got to the place where she was expecting me to have the same relationship with her that I was having with the ambassador. That is, I talked to the ambassador most of the time, twice a day. Now, yesterday I only talked to him once. He was supposed to get back to me later in the day. That didn't happen, and that's fine. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. You know, he's a busy man. That he takes any time for me is quite amazing. That he took as much time with me as he did for a long time was absolutely surprising to me. But when he and I started to communicate, it wasn't even every day. It was once in a while, maybe a couple of times a week. I'd get a call from one of his friends and said the ambassador would like to talk with you. It wasn't a daily thing for a good while, maybe 3 weeks at least, before we started communicating directly with each other. It was always through a middle person for the first couple 3 weeks before that person didn't like me anymore and started to attacking me, and then the ambassador started conversing with me directly, and that was when I learned his identity. Up until that point, I only knew him as the ambassador. Well, this artist had, right from the very beginning, thought that she had the right to talk to me 2 or 3 times a day and take an hour, 2 or 3 hours each conversation, and send me things to read and things like that that would just take up a significant chunk of my time when I only have 24 hours in the day. Now, she wrote, I'm reading right from her latest email, received last evening. Actually, there was one that was after that one. But this is the second to the last email she sent. And she's referring to the ambassador. Did I think you understood when you have conversations in the morning touch base several times during the day and at night before his bedtime, that you would freak out with me doing the same to create a strong team. No, I was in shock. Now that's what she wrote to me, among other things, of course. I mean, tell me if I'm crazy. But if she knew that I was having all of this time spent with the ambassador, how would she surmise, since I just met her, that I wanted that same kind of a relationship with her? I mean, this is an intelligent woman, probably with an IQ superior to my own. I mean, she's brilliant. Okay? And she doesn't understand that I only just met her. Yes, I wanted to help. I'm a sucker for sob stories, and she had lots of them. I wanted to help. But talking to her, sometimes it would take an hour after I said I need to go. And she'd keep saying, well, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. She didn't know how to hang up the phone. It was always one more thing. She did not respect my time. And then when I wanted her to email more, she started emailing more. But like I said, the other day, 12 emails in one day. You want to push me away? Be obsessive. She's not the only one that's done that. There have been other people that will comment on my threads, for example, over and over and over again. Maybe a sentence here and then another sentence there. And every one of them is a different thing, a different thought. Or they send me symbols and a whole bunch of them. That's obsession to me. And it doesn't attract me. It repulses me. It absolutely turns me off. And so I'm sitting here this morning and I'm thinking about this pattern that I'm seeing, not just with this woman, but with others in my life that try to get my attention, and they keep pressing and pressing and pressing. Where have I done that? I've done it sometimes in relationships when I meet somebody and I feel this really good feeling and I rush it. I can think of some people that I did that to. And then they pull away from me, but they don't even tell me why they're pulling away. They don't say, Ron, you're obsessive. No, they just push me out of their lives and stop talking to me. Stop responding to emails. Don't answer phone calls. Whatever. I've done it, yeah. And I'm a guy. You know, I'm not supposed to be as smart as women when it comes to things like this. Women are supposed to have it up on men. Now, this particular lady thinks that the reason I'm rejecting her is because she's a woman. I've never had a relationship, a friendship with a man in my life to the extent that I've had with the ambassador over the last several months. Not one. Not one in my entire life, and I'm 68 years old. I think that's what I am. I've never had one. I've had lots of relationships with women that I would talk and have developed really, really good friendships with them. So it has nothing to do with gender. If anything, I would be more attracted to having a conversation, having an intimate conversations with a woman than with a man. When I say intimate, I'm not talking sexual. I'm talking about emotional honesty. I know that I'm not whole, that I'm not well. Now, you say, Ron, you're buying into the Matrix program. Of course you're whole. No, nobody in the Matrix is whole. If we were whole, we wouldn't be here. Do we have the ability to become whole? Well, apparently there's some kind of process that we have to go through. We have to remember who we are. We have to put all the pieces together. Our pieces, the soul scattered parts that have been scattered through many lifetimes. We've got to somehow bring them all together and reconcile them and and put them back together in an order that produces who we really are, the loving souls that we are. But meanwhile, we have all this baggage. I have it, you have it, we all have it. We need to heal. How do we heal? We heal by interacting with others and pushing each other's buttons and having to make decisions that we're not going to sell ourselves short anymore. I mean, I could have sacrificed myself and said, oh, this lady needs my help. And I did initially promise to help her. And that was my honest intention when I made the promise. I was going to have her on my program. I was going to let her present her particular point of view. I'm not going to do that now. Not in a million years would I allow her to come on after what she's done. Now, will I ever forgive her? Who knows? Who knows? In this moment, I have no intention of ever letting her have an interview with me that I'm going to share with the world. I've seen the obsession. It scares me. Sometimes my obsessions, or what appears to others as obsessions, might scare them. That's why I do the videos. What do I hope to achieve? I hope to achieve some clarity for myself by being willing to talk about the things that are going on in my life, to give me a reflection of things that I need to see. And I've seen, as I've been doing this, that when I do this for me, it helps other people. I've had lots of people write and say, Ron, you don't know how important it was for me to hear exactly what you were saying. And some people have said, you seem to do that every day. You always seem to touch on something that's going on and relevant for me in my life where I am. And we've got to heal. We're not going to fix, I want a world that works for everybody, but we're not going to fix the world when we don't fix ourselves first. We do need to come into alignment somewhat with ourselves, and that's what I want to do. Yes, I'd like to have an action plan. I'd like to see people start taking responsibility for what's going on in their local communities, for what's happening politically, what's happening in their churches and synagogues and mosques and temples and whatever places of worship they have, whatever's going on in the bars even, wherever people congregate, what's going on in the Masonic Lodge or the Elks Club or the Moose Lodge or whatever. What's going on? We need to start paying attention to the world that we're living in. But before we can even pay attention much to the world, we need to pay attention to our own lives. Now, does it matter which one comes first? To me, it doesn't, because inner and outer are the same. I've said that lots of times. It doesn't matter whether you start on the outside and work your way in or start on the inside and work your way out. The thing is, if we're going to become whole, we have to do both. I'd like to see, I would have, truthfully, when I started these videos, I thought God was going to do it. I don't even know if there is a God sometimes. Certainly not the God that I anticipated, not the God that my heart cried out for, a God that would heal me and fix my problems for me. I hated the saying, God helps those who help themselves. But I've come to the possible realization that God doesn't do a damn thing that we don't do. God does absolutely nothing if we're unwilling to do it. We are the hands of God. We are the feet of God. We are the mouth of God. We are the eyes of God, the ears of God. We are the heart of God. We are God's. I know the ambassador doesn't like that because that's supposed to be blasphemy. That's the lie of Lucifer. But if God created, if God was all that is, and I believe that God is all it is, and always was and always will be, then everything that is part of God. It has that divine quality to it. And I don't think that's blasphemy. I agree with the Apostle Paul, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. Being made in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God. So what do I hope to achieve? I hope to achieve healing. I hope to be able to love more, but also to have safe boundaries, to not let people influence me in ways that don't resonate with me, to be in integrity, to be truthful to myself first, so that I can't be false to another. I told this lady, I said, look, you're pushing too hard. You're pushing too hard, and it's pushing me away. Did she listen? No. So I had to block her phone number, so she can't call me anymore. Even after I blocked it, I had to go back in and block it a second time, just like I did with my friend that I blocked a month ago or so, who wouldn't listen to me when I said, email me with your concern. He always seemed to call me when I was laying down to rest. Inevitably, no matter what time I'd lay down, he'd call within 10 minutes. It seemed like he had some extrasensory perception that knew when I was trying to relax and take a break. And my sleep patterns are all over the place. I mean, you don't know. And I'm not telling people don't call me, but don't call me and then call me again, then call me again when I don't answer right away. That's obsessive. Don't comment on my videos and make a comment and then 5 minutes later make another comment, then 5 minutes later make another comment. I mean, be respectful. Be respectful. Don't be obsessive because it pushes people away. Who am I saying that to? To you, yeah, but to me first, because introspection is looking in the mirror. And I'm a very sensitive and introspective guy. Too much so for a guy, maybe. You expect women to be sensitive, but I'm a sensitive man. And I really want to help people. But I only have so many hours in a day. And there's some things I just can't do, and I have to accept my own limitations till I don't have those limitations anymore. Till God finally gets off his ass and answers my prayer when I ask to have my gifts activated, my DNA activated. When God finally does what he promised to do. Will that ever happen? I don't know. Will it ever happen that we fix the problems in our world? I don't know. I do the best I can every day, and I'm willing to look in the mirror, and I'm willing to take responsibility to the best of my ability for that which I perceive and that which I experience. I do the best I can. If you don't want to listen, goodbye. If you do want to listen and it's helpful, thank you. I'm glad to be of service. Namaste.